Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly fascinating and honestly pretty tragic story of Paul Morphy. We're talking about a 19th century American prodigy who absolutely conquered the global chess world and then, almost as suddenly as he appeared, just vanished. It's this wild story of unmatched genius, super fierce transatlantic rivalries, and ultimately a mysterious fade right into obscurity. To really get a sense of the absolute awe that surrounded the guy, there's a quote published back in 1859 by Chess Monthly that says, "Morphy plays with the clarity of a mathematician and the creativity of a poet." I mean, just imagine this. You have an American amateur, basically fresh out of law school, crossing the ocean to take on the seasoned old European guard of chess. And he didn't just challenge them. He brought an entirely new level of clarity and creativity to a game that people had already been playing for centuries.
And this leads us to one of the most massive historical mysteries in the entire world of strategy and sports. You really have to ask yourself, how does someone reach the absolute pinnacle of their field by age 21, completely dismantle the established masters of the era, and then just walk away, never to play competitively again? Well, to understand this enigma, we first have to grasp the sheer, undeniable dominance of his incredibly brief career.
59. That's it. 59. In the grand scheme of chess history, this is a shockingly small sample size for a prime career. Think about it. Today's grandmasters, they play thousands of recorded games. Yet Morphy achieved legendary, undisputed world champion status based on literally just these 59 serious encounters. Let's actually break those down, because the dominance is undeniable out of the gate. 42 wins, 9 draws, and only 8 losses. And this is against the absolute best minds in the world. But you know what's even more terrifying than his win rate? His speed. We're talking about an era before chess clocks existed, right? So opponents might sit there and ponder a single move for 8 hours. But Morphy, relying on pure, raw intuition, he would often just crush them in less than an hour. Section 1. Romantic versus modern chess. The clash of eras. See, Morphy wasn't just winning games, he was fundamentally changing the very fabric of how chess was played. It was a massive stylistic clash. You had the reigning giant, Prussia's Adolf Anderssen, who was the ultimate hero of the Romantic style. Flamboyant, daring attacks, brilliant but totally reckless sacrifices. And then in steps Morphy, introducing the modern style. He was highly intuitive, ruthlessly precise, and hyper-focused on rapid piece development. You have to understand the mindset of the old guard during the Romantic era. To them, the beauty of the attack was everything. A bold, spectacular sacrifice was considered the literal soul of chess. But Morphy came in and proved that rapid, methodical development, getting all your pieces into active play as quickly as possible, was completely unstoppable. The older masters hadn't mastered the open game yet, and Morphy just punished them for it with terrifying efficiency.
Section 2. Triumph over Adolf Anderssen. Paris, 1858.
So December 1858 rolls around. The setting is the famous Café de la Régence in Paris, and these two titans finally meet face to face. And Morphy decisively dismantles Anderssen, the guy widely considered the unofficial world champion. Morphy wins 7 games, draws 2, and loses only 2. Keep in mind, this was played without any formal time controls. This crushing victory really marked the symbolic end of the Romantic era in high-level chess. What I absolutely love about this moment is the sheer grace of the defeated champion. Even Anderssen himself immediately recognized the absolute shift in the game. He gracefully praised Morphy's superior, rapid approach, famously saying that while he needed 70 moves to win his games, Mr. Morphy only needed 20. Anderssen knew it for sure. He had just witnessed the future of chess.
Section 3. The Staunton Match Controversy. The Unfought Battle.
So, with the European continent effectively conquered, Morphy sets his sights on the English titan, Howard Staunton. To lure the former world's strongest player to the board, the New Orleans Chess Club backs Morphy with a massive $5,000 stake. Now, that might not sound like a huge deal today, but if we adjust for inflation, that is roughly $877,000. That astronomical sum really highlights the intense national pride wrapped up in this whole transatlantic rivalry.
Let's actually trace this paper trail of drama through 1858, because it is quite the saga. In February, that massive initial challenge is sent out. By April, Staunton replies. He notes his incredibly busy schedule but leaves the door open. In June, Morphy actually sails over to England, fully expecting this match to happen. By August, they meet, but Staunton asks to delay it until November. And finally, in October, Staunton formally cancels the match entirely.
Now, we have to stay totally objective here, because history is heavily colored by national perspectives on this one. From the American historical view, which was largely fueled by Morphy's highly vocal personal assistant, Frederick Edge, Staunton is painted basically as a coward who was dodging the match to protect his reputation. Meanwhile, from the English viewpoint, defenders are quick to point out that Staunton was under a very real, legally binding contract to edit the text of Shakespeare, which carried heavy financial penalties. Not to mention, the guy had a documented history of heart troubles.
Ultimately, it wasn't just one single thing, right? It was a very messy combination of factors. Staunton's demanding literary deadlines and his prolonged absence from competitive play really clashed with logistical issues, like Morphy initially lacking access to his funds and his seconds when he arrived in London. Add in a swirl of toxic anonymous letters being published in the sporting press by supporters from both sides, and well, this dream prize fight was just prevented from ever taking place.
Section 4. A brief, blazing legacy. The fade to black.
Deeply frustrated by the whole Staunton situation, and with literally no one left in Europe who could even give him a competitive match, Morphy returns to America in 1859 as an absolute hero. But then, the narrative takes a really tragic turn. In devastatingly rapid succession, he declares himself permanently retired from competitive chess. He tries to start up a law career, but the outbreak of the American Civil War completely disrupts those plans. Steadfastly refusing to play chess for money, he becomes reclusive, suffers a heartbreaking mental decline, and tragically succumbs to a stroke in 1884 at just 47 years old.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. Paul Morphy fundamentally revolutionized chess theory. He introduced the concept of dynamic piece development, and he crushed the greatest minds of his era, all in the span of just a few short years. It really leaves us with one lingering question. If he achieved all of this by age 21, just how far could this brilliant comet have gone if he hadn't vanished from the sky so soon? Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating historical mystery with me.